Imagine, deep in Russia, the Ural Mountains, an empty, snow-covered pass. It swallowed whole 9 seasoned hikers, left behind a tent slashed from the inside, a trail of barefoot tracks that stopped mid-drift, their only sign. Tonight, on Secret Spells and Shadows, we follow the Dyatlov Pass story, a 1959 mystery that still echoes across every campfire. I'm Victoria Unikel, artist and media mogul by day, and modern witch exorcista by night. Every Thursday, we unseal one true tale to remind you that the world is stranger than fiction. If you are ready, hit like and subscribe. And let's begin. Our story starts on the eastern slope of Mountain of the Dead, where 9 university trekkers were chasing their hiking certifications. January 31st, 1959, Igor Dyatlov's group boarded the final lumber train in high spirits, looking forward to the trip. They were expert skiers in homemade jackets. Igor, the careful leader, Zinaida with sparkling wit, Lyudmila, who kept a poetic diary, Rustem, the strongest, Yuri Doroshenko, the jokester, Yuri Krevenishenko, a nuclear technician who played mandolin, Alexander and Nikolai, calm engineers, Semyon, a decorated World War II veteran still searching for peace. A 10th hiker, Yuri Yudin, would turn back ill, his sciatic nerve making him the lone survivor. After a cold truck ride, the team put on skis and pulled sleds toward Otterton. They spent the nights in tents. They took pictures of each other, smiling by the campfire, northern lights bright overhead. On February 1st, a sudden storm forced Igor to pause, high on a slope rather than descend again. They anchored the tent with their skis, made a snow cave, and crawled inside to eat bacon, bread, and condensed milk. Their diaries ended after supper. Near midnight, investigators found the hikers slashed the tent from inside and fled into -25 °C winds. They wore only socks, thin undershirts, and linen pajamas. The storm screamed over their heads. Their footprints went downhill in a straight line before vanishing under a snowbank. When group disappeared, search volunteers, classmates, soldiers, and Mansi hunters went to look for them. On February 26, rescuers spotted a collapsed orange tent, partly buried by snow. Inside, rescuers found boots and clothes, carefully arranged carved spoons, maps, and a flask of vodka, corked and untouched. The lantern was in place, wick charred black, like it was suddenly blown out. 500 meters downslope, under a huge cedar tree, they found Yuri D and Yuri K. They were lying side by side in their underwear, palms blistered raw from grabbing burning branches. The tall cedar's trunk showed that they were trying to climb it to get a view of the tent from above. Between the tree and the tent, they found Igor, Zinaida, and Rustem, face down and frozen in the snowbank. Their bodies were in a line, like they were crawling back to the tent. Rustem had a cracked skull. Zinaida clutched a pine branch like she didn't want to let go. Spring came in 2 months and revealed the rest of the group. Under 4 meters of snow, they found Lyudmila, Alexander, Nikolai, and Semyon, covered by improvised reed flooring. The bodies were a horror show. Lyudmila had ribs crushed inward. Her tongue and eyes were removed. Alexander had a caved-in skull. Nikolai and Semyon had broken bones, like they were hit by a speeding car, but their skin barely bruised. A doctor called the internal injuries beyond human ability. Their clothes gave off radiation. confusing investigators already wary of Cold War secrecy. Official investigations blamed a mysterious natural force, stamped the files secret, and closed the pass for 3 years. Rumors spread. Secret parachute mines, missile misfires, infrasound panic, man's revenge, escaped prisoners, Yeti hunts, even aliens. Locals remembered bright spheres floating across the sky that night. Photos showed streaks of orange craft high above the mountain. Historians found the files years later. They contained winged information, autopsy sketches, and the final frame from Simon's camera, a glowing blob that overexposed the film. In 2013, scientists were studying snow collapses. They proved a small block could break under the tent's floor. After the team cut into the hillside, this may have driven them out in terror. But no one explained why they split up, regrouped, and died meters apart. Why some injuries looked like high-speed impacts, while others suggested slow freezing. Families refused to accept their theories. In 2019, a new investigation used drones and LiDAR scanners. They measured the exact cut-in angle, recreated the snowpack, and showed how some winds may disturb a snow slab. Prosecutors were satisfied. Case closed. Avalanche. But climbers said that no experienced leader would run downhill without boots if another slide threatened. Every new theory had a darker core. 9 hearts were paralyzed by fear, then were stopped at the same time. Mountains keep many secrets. Dyatlov's Pass is not the only terrifying mountain mystery. Huascarán Avalanche, 1970. An earthquake broke up a glacier of a mountain in Peru. It buried an entire town and the European climbing team beneath millions of tons of ice and rock. No climber's body was ever found. Uruguayan air flight, 1972. A charter plane carrying a rugby team crashed in the Andes. Survivors spent 72 days and resorted to cannibalism before rescue. San Lorenzo tragedy, 2014. World-class free skiers J.P. Auclair and Andreas Franson vanished under an avalanche in Argentina. Their GPS trackers were no match for 10 meters of snow. Each disaster carries the same message. Beautiful, empty mountains can kill without warning, and sometimes without logic. People fear what they can't control or understand. Dyatlov Pass remains a white blank in history. Was it aliens? Natural disaster? Nobody knows to this day. Have you ever felt you were being watched? Have you been to the mountains? Did you see anything mysterious or unexplained there? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe, my darlings, and come back next Thursday for another story on secret spells and shadows. Until then, stay safe, stay sharp, and think twice before going on an adventure. Mwah.